Right. Let's go ahead and call the Senate to order. Sergeant Arms will please secure the chamber doors. Members, please take your seats. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. President,
All right, Senators, on this Thursday, March 20th, we are very pleased to have Apostle Antonio Palmer of Kingdom Celebration Center in Gambrills, Maryland, guest of the distinguished senators from District 30 and 32. Please rise for the invocation.
First, I'd just like to say good morning to everyone. Before I pray, I want to say thank you to the entire Senate for affording me the privilege to invocate this wonderful session. I'd also like to personally thank Senator Shanika Henson for extending the invitation to pray for you all. And I have to thank my longstanding friends from the districts where I've served for 15 years, Senators Pam Beidel and Don Guile. Most of all, I'd like to thank Senate President, my friend, Bill Ferguson, for your great leadership. Let us pray. Eternal God, our Father and source of all wisdom, we gather today in humble gratitude for the privilege of service to the people of Maryland. As we convene this session of the Senate, we seek guidance, clarity, and purpose in our deliberations. Grant to these elected servants discernment in their decisions, courage in their convictions, and compassion in their considerations. May the weight of the responsibility they bear be matched by the strength of character with which they carry it. We remember the diverse communities across our beautiful state, from the shores of the Chesapeake to the heights of the Appalachian Mountains, from our vibrant cities to our cherished rural landscape. In this chamber, may their voices be heard, their needs be addressed, and their hopes be honored. Bless these proceedings with civility and respect, even amid passionate debate. Let disagreement strengthen rather than divide us as we seek common ground for the common good. As stewards of public trust, may these senators be guided by integrity in their personal conduct and wisdom in their public service. Inspire them to look beyond the concerns of today to envision the legacy they create for generations to come. We ask for protection over the families of these public servants who share in the sacrifice of their calling. And may they find a balance between duty to the state and devotion to the loved ones. And finally, we give thanks for the blessings of liberty and democracy that allow us to gather freely in this historic chamber to shape the future of our state with thoughtful deliberation. With gratitude for this sacred responsibility, we commit this session to the pursuit of justice, prosperity, and well-being for all Marylanders. I pray an apostolic blessing upon this Senate and for the great state of Maryland to be forever blessed. Our Father and our God, this is our prayer. Amen.
Recognized Senator from District 30.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, we are truly blessed to be joined by Apostle Antonio Palmer. His community work is legendary in Anne Arundel County. He and his lovely wife, Dr. Barbara Palmer, are owners of Kingdom Care Incorporated, a nonprofit that does violence interruption work. They also operate a daycare center, and they also are active in the lives of veterans in Anne Arundel County. He is a published author, but if you ever have the opportunity to hear him speak about being a justice-impacted person, then you understand that his life and his dedication is truly remarkable. Mr. President, I move that the gentleman's comments be journalized.
Without objection, most certainly we will journalize the wonderful invocation this morning. Thank you, Senator. and appreciate his work and the invocation this morning. Thank you for being with us. Wonderful. All right, has everyone recorded their presence? Oh, I'm sorry, yes, Senator from the 26th.
No, if I can, and thank you for giving me this moment and for your patience as Senate colleagues. I wanted to welcome the good apostle too. I've known him and many members of his congregation for many, many, many years. I'm proud of the work that you are doing there. God bless you, and thank you for praying for us today. As you can see, we need all the prayer we can get. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Senator.
I do.
Thank you so much. All right, has everyone recorded their presence? If so, the clerk will take the call. With 44 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland is again back in session. Obviously, we have a special day today. We have a lot of guests. We're going to start, though, with a resolution, and we are going to hear from the senator from District 4.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, colleagues. This morning we have Miss Maryland 2024, Bridget O'Brien. Bridget O'Brien is a Maryland native and a summa cum laude graduate of the University of Alabama. She is now a first-year graduate student at the University of Alabama studying sports management. She has been involved in the Miss America opportunity since she was 16 years old. Bridget was crowned Miss Maryland 2024 on June 21st, 2024 in Hagerstown, Maryland. She will graduate from her master's program debt-free due to the scholarships she has won throughout this opportunity. Bridget is a two-time world tap champion as a member of Team USA and an avid musical theater enthusiast. She is currently rehearsing to play the role of Amneris in Morgan State University's production of the musical Ada under the direction of Dr. Tyrone Stanley. Her community service initiative, Boomerang, strives to inspire others to use their failures as a catalyst for success through her workshops, podcasts, and social media campaigns. During her time as Miss Maryland, Bridget has spoken to over 3,000 students across the state, inspiring them to boomerang to their future successes. Bridget returned home from the Miss America competition, where she was recognized and awarded for her outstanding leadership and fundraising efforts for the American Heart Association as the regional leadership winner. Bridget has attended over 100 appearances as Miss Maryland. She has had the opportunity to use her vocal talents singing the national anthem and God Bless America at many notable events such as the National Independence Day Parade, the Great Frederick Fair, and Aaron Brooks' Olympic homecoming in Hagerstown. When Bridget is not wearing her crown or on stage, you can find her cheering on her favorite sports teams and picking Maryland Blue Crabs. She is accompanied today by her parents, Cindy and Patrick. And Mr. President, I would request that the resolution be read in full.
Clerk will read the resolution in full.
Be it hereby known to all that the Senate of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to Bridget O'Brien in recognition of being crowned Miss Maryland 2024 and for your leadership and dedication representing the state of Maryland. The entire membership extends its best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution be presented on this 20th day of March 2025.
The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? If so, the clerk will take the call. To Bridget O'Brien, Miss Maryland, the Senate of Maryland unanimously celebrates your great work and congratulates you on your win of the Miss Maryland Award. Congratulations. All right, Senators, our next order of business is one of my favorite experiences each year in each session. It's our one day that we have the opportunity to recognize some very critical people to the state, most of whom and almost always don't realize that it's happening. And so I would now like to invite up Elaine Bachman, our state archivist, so that we can discuss this year's 2025 First Citizen Awards.
Good morning. President Ferguson, members of the Senate, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and I'd like to particularly acknowledge and thank Assistant State Archivists Corey Lewis and Emily Olin Squires, who are with me on the floor today. Since 1992, it has been the privilege of the Maryland State Archives to present on your behalf the First Citizen Awards of the Maryland Senate, recognizing individuals who have committed themselves to public service and civic engagement through debate, legislation, and governance. Senate President Mike Miller, portrayed behind you, collaborated with then State Archivist Edward Pappenfuss to create an award for distinguished citizens of Maryland. The selection of Charles Carroll of Carrollton as the symbol of this award was a natural choice. Carroll was a Maryland signer of the Maryland Declaration of Independence for Maryland and also served in the Maryland Senate. His support of independence through his debate with Daniel Delaney in the Maryland Gazette in 1773 using the name First Citizen gave this award its name. I thank President Ferguson for continuing this tradition and making it his own, selecting recipients over the past 5 years across a broad range of government service, private industry, the arts, and humanities, always shining a light on the public service and civic engagement that are the foundation of this award. And Mr. President, if I may diverge only momentarily from today's agenda to highlight your own commitment to civic engagement and honoring art and history. In referring to the portraits on the walls around us, I want to note that it is President Ferguson who is to be commended for making one of his first acts in office a request to the archives to alter the decor of this chamber, which had not been changed for over 100 years, and include not only the portrait of his immediate predecessor, President Miller, but also that of Senator Verda Welcome, painted by Maryland artist Simi Knox. Inspired by school-age visitors from his district who did not see themselves on the walls of the State House, President Ferguson sought to remediate this by adding the portrait of the first Black woman elected to the Maryland Senate and one of the first women of color elected to a state legislature in the entire country. President Ferguson's act not only shines a light on the accomplishments of Senator Welcome, but also the importance of representation and public art. Many people take for granted the portraits, paintings, and sculpture that surround them as they walk around this State House and the Annapolis Government Complex. But behind the scenes, there is a dedicated curatorial staff and many professionals across the fields of art, conservation, and art handling, making sure that this collection is cared for and accessible. There are partners in state government, including the State House Trust, who work with the Commission on Artistic Property, part of the State Archives, to ensure that this public art, which belongs to the people of Maryland, is preserved and interpreted so that it will be here for generations to come. It is also important to be reminded of the value of the nation's public art displayed throughout the buildings of Washington, D.C. and across the country as its care and preservation is placed in peril, and to not take our own state's collection for granted. Thank you, President Ferguson, for your advocacy and action, and thank you to the members of the legislature for supporting the archives in our mission to care for these treasures. And now for today's awards. This morning's first recipient is one of the most recognizable and long-serving public servants in Maryland. A native Baltimorean who has dedicated his life to serving not only the people of the 7th District, but the entire state and nation over the course of a career that has included roles as city councilman, congressman, president and CEO, professor, broadcaster, author, and congressman again. Kwesi Mfume's accomplishments would qualify him for this distinction many times over. But in choosing to honor him today, it is the variety of his public service and the mentorship that he has provided along the way that make him an outstanding first citizen. Early in his congressional career in 1990, Mfume was praised in the Baltimore Sun as a bridge builder, citing a recent dust-up on Capitol Hill where, in the absence of the committee chair, the then freshman congressman stepped in to take control of a meeting with Black businessmen who had assembled to seek guidance on how to compete for government contracts. When the chair finally did show up, he belittled the visitor's mission and soon left. It was Kwesi who pulled it back together and turned it all around, a colleague was quoted as saying. Going on, he's a new Black leader able to come in and get things done rather than disrupt the system. The article goes on to cite the congressman's time on the Baltimore City Council, when the then dashiki-clad councilman sometimes exhibited fiery rhetoric, but was now evolving into a quiet and serious lawmaker clad in gray, gaining notice by forging coalitions and burrowing into his committee work, a legislative craftsman with an eye toward the pressing needs of his inner city district. Mfume would initially serve that district from 1987 to 1996, when he became president and CEO of the NAACP, taking his talent for leadership and governance to the national stage, where he not only advocated for Black Americans, but built alliances with Latino, Asian, and Native American organizations. He worked diligently to seek improvements to civil rights for all, ultimately securing the NAACP's United Nations status as a non-governmental organization, enabling it to advocate on behalf of people across the world. A graduate of Morgan State and Johns Hopkins, Mfume, the student, ultimately became the teacher, not only in classrooms where he has lectured widely on subjects of history, politics, civil rights, diversity, gender, and race, but in boardrooms, assembly halls, and legislative chambers across the country and around the world. He has lent his particular voice to solving issues of minority health and healthcare disparities, serving on commissions and entities at the state and national level, including at the National Institutes of Health. Despite this national and international profile, Mfume has always kept the people and interests of his hometown within focus. He has been a constant voice advocating for Baltimore, such as in his 2019 editorial in The Sun in support of Pimlico Racetrack, saying, "We should seriously commit ourselves to keeping the Preakness in Baltimore and seizing on this chance of a lifetime to rebuild the Pimlico and Park Heights communities." How timely that less than 2 months from now, I expect he will attend the 150th running of the Preakness Stakes, after which portions of the Pimlico Racetrack, now owned by the state of Maryland, will be demolished to make way for a renovated complex that will bring new development to the neighborhood he has so long championed. And one which he now serves again as congressman for the 7th District, stepping back into the office he first held when succeeding Perrin Mitchell and now holds after succeeding Elijah Cummings. Mfume's place among these giants of Maryland and American politics underscores the importance of representation and mentorship. One generation modeling leadership for and mentoring the next, and now carrying that forward to the 3rd and even 4th generations of Black leaders first forged in the era of civil rights. I had the pleasure of attending the recent groundbreaking ceremony for the Afro Charity's new headquarters in West Baltimore at Upton Mansion. Among the speakers was Congressman Mfume, as well as Mayor Brandon Scott. Mayor Scott, the youngest in Baltimore's history, shared a poignant personal story of finding his own voice through the encouragement of his longtime family friend, Mfume. It was a fitting tribute to a man who has surely mentored hundreds of young people on the path to service and leadership, and who has taken his rightful place as the successor to his own mentors, for he is now the elder statesman. It is my honor to present Congressman Kweisi Mfume with the First Citizen Award. It's an honor. It's an honor.
I said to my wife just a moment ago, I'm going to kill you. She was a part of this. And I thought she was going over to Hopkins this morning to go to work. And I said, I've got to be down at the Senate because the president wants to have a meeting. So I'm sitting here waiting. And she walks through the door. And my sister-in-law, Sally Robb, who helped to engineer this, I'm sure, brought me to a situation where I actually have a tear in my eye. And it's something about having lived a long time that you appreciate everything you've done and all the people you've encountered along the way. And I see so many of you here that I've worked with that I really thank you for this. God has been very good to me in my life and has allowed me to be able to do things that I had imagined and never really earned in the sense of having worked for them. The first thing he gave me was a loving mother and a loving family, and I didn't earn that, didn't work for it. I'd like to think right after that he gave me common sense, if not good sense, and he gave me an opportunity to meet and to know so many people across this state and to work in so many different capacities. So I am, first of all, absolutely shocked, absolutely shocked, and without words at all, but more than shocked, thankful to all of you who have done so much across the state every day in districts that people don't often see, in communities and towns that they may not visit, and with people and others who are really nameless and faceless, but are Americans and are Marylanders. We have such a great dynamic democracy to protect and such a great nation to lift up that, Elijah Cummings and I used to talk about this for the years leading up to his death. We served on the board together at Morgan. Who was going to speak at whose funeral, and what would you say? And we both agreed that no matter what happened, the first thing we'd have to say is just thank you, God. Thank you for all that you've given all these many times to so many of us. So I really do appreciate it. Tiffany, you're going to get it later. You are going to get it. Sally, I can't wait. Yeah, okay. Oh, by the way, my wife, Tiffany and Fume. Stand up, Tiffany. When she said, you're going to get it too, and I realized, oh, I didn't introduce her. I'm just teasing, Okay, Bill is definitely going to get it. I'm Bill's constituent, and glad to be his constituent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very, very much for this. Larry Gibson told me you got him like this once. Yeah, and I said, wow, it was an honor. He said it was more than an honor, and I understand what he means. So, Bill, thank you very much. My thanks to all of you for allowing me to interrupt your session. I'm going to sit down and behave myself and get a chance to come around and just to say hello to a lot of you I've not spoken to yet. Thank you very much. God bless.
This morning's second recipient grew up in Anne Arundel County and attended high school at Archbishop Spalding, where she met her future husband, to whom she has been married for 43 years.
Hold on 1 second.
With your permission, I'll restart.
Please.
This morning's second recipient grew up in Anne Arundel County and attended high school at Archbishop Spalding, where she met her future husband, to whom she has been married for 43 years. Teresa Hope Goddard and her husband Jim raised their 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter, in Centerville, Queen Anne's County, where she is an active member of our Mother of Sorrows Catholic Church, as well as an active gardener, crafter, and accomplished jewelry artist. Concurrent with all of these noble domestic pursuits and achievements, Hope Goddard was also building a career on the staff of the Maryland General Assembly. It was a professional path that placed her alongside some of the state's most important Republican leaders over the past 3 decades, leading her to ultimately serve as the director of the Senate's Minority Caucus. Hope Goddard began her state service in the 1990s while a student at Anne Arundel Community College, interning for Senator David Craig. She later served as a legislative aide for Senator Gene Rosser and went on to help guide the campaign of E.J. Pipkin, ultimately becoming Senator Pipkin's chief of staff. Joining the General Assembly staff in the era of some of Maryland's larger-than-life Republican leaders, Hope Goddard became familiar with forging what one former legislator characterized as the sometimes strange alliances necessary to advance legislation on behalf of the minority party. She also perfected the ability to manage legislators, sometimes compared to herding cats, a challenge I've been told is especially acute as it regards the members of the Republican Minority Caucus. In serving this caucus, Hope Goddard has been in the position of supporting the pursuit of legislation that often takes the opposite position of the majority, which requires a sensitivity to and a respect for the legislative process in order to be successful, and is a skill that can only come from years of experience. I'm sure many of you have your own stories of epic legislative debates that took place in this chamber, particularly given the number of former senators who've joined us today. I'd like to tell one that was shared with me by Judge Joe Getty, with his permission, of a time when then Minority Leader Senator David Brinkley was arguing against a bill that the Democrats intended to pass and asserting that it was not supported by the labor union. In the floor debate, Senator Brinkley was challenged by a Democratic senator who asked, how did he know what the union members thought? To which Leader Brinkley replied, because the union leaders are right now sitting in the Republican caucus room with Teresa Goddard and listening to this debate. And even though that minority position was at times contentious, it is the special quality of the Maryland Senate that it is historically known to be far more collegial than adversarial. Perhaps this camaraderie is the result of the compressed schedule of the 90-day session, or the time spent together in the close confinement of committee hearings, stretching for hours at a time. That intimacy with purpose, service to the people of Maryland, is something that Hope Goddard has witnessed firsthand over many years. As a former member described it to me, the intensity of the session and the hours together in committee breaks down a lot of partisan barriers. Hope Goddard has been present for the wins and the losses and all the battles in between. And it is that longevity that enables her to counsel new senators who weren't here for the budget crises of earlier administrations and for the debates over spending bills and priorities, because today's problems aren't necessarily new and similar challenges have been tackled in some way in the past. Her invaluable knowledge of how those barriers were previously breached, who crafted compromises and how, enables her to provide a strong guiding hand to the members of her caucus. Indeed, her collective knowledge, experience, and friendship is a resource for this entire body, for she is now the institutional memory of the Senate. It is my honor to present Teresa Hope Goddard with the First Citizen Award.
And you want to take a quick picture?
Oh, the mic is mine. I'm totally speechless. I am the one that helps plan these whenever they happen. I had no idea, and I have a pretty good sniffer. So to all those that helped, thank you. Especially those that got my text to this morning that said, where are you? That are involved. This is incredible, and I feel it's more representative of any of us that are institutional knowledge around here. As I talk now often, the five of us that have got 30 years of service here are the institutional knowledge. And I am speechless. Thank you. I didn't see this coming. To get my son in a suit and my grandchildren here, my mom is just incredible. Plus all the senators that I'm in EJ coming up from Florida. Someone just asked, this was quite a setup because I've had questions asked of me today. They're like, okay, I've worked for 8 minority leaders. It's my 31st session, and I'm still here. And herding cats is something that comes out of my mouth repeatedly. So I greatly, this honor me, oh, and even in the gallery. Hi, guys. This means a lot. I don't like being here. But, you don't ever see me. I stay, so you got me. Thank you so much to everyone that contributed. and as what was read, I pretty much know who told, who told, and said things. Thank you very much. And again, I'm representative of the institutional knowledge of this institution, what it means, and just being a small part of it. Thank you. Do I get and flowers too? Oh my gosh. Oh, got it. What do I do now? I usually
People will probably say some good words about you.
okay. Stay here.
If you want to take a seat
What do you
down.
want?
Perfect.
Should I sit down?
If you. All right. This is first off. Thank you again, as always, Elaine. Wonderful remarks to honor our two honorees. I'm so thankful for all of your great work as our state archivist. We're very fortunate to have you and to put everything in context in this moment. I want to open the floor to folks who would be interested in saying anything about our two honorees. If there is interest. Yes, Senator from the 43rd.
Thank you. As chair of the Baltimore City delegation, I would ask our senators to stand, the city delegation senators to stand, and thank our representative, our leader, for your mentorship, for your model of how to represent with integrity and passion and fact, and for a long life of public service and the various ways that we can represent not only the city that we love, but the state and the country. So, Mr. President, thank you for this opportunity for us to show our gratitude, and we congratulate you and thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Recognizing the minority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I understand we're going through a lot this year with the budget, and that's very difficult to try to solve that, but nowhere near as difficult as trying to keep a secret from a woman that thinks she knows everything that's going on in the Senate of Maryland. So it was quite a task, and I appreciate all of those that helped us in making this a surprise for Teresa, who hates to come on the floor, as she mentioned already, but so many people that have come, and as she said, 8 different minority leaders that she's helped us every day, and to, you never see Teresa speechless at all, but that's because there's always something that she's saying that is to inform us, to make us stronger, and we joke sometimes and call her our caucus mom. And it is very apparent, not just after our meetings, but as we're going to the floor, there's always that encouragement. Go get them, do well, you're prepared. And there's nothing like walking on the floor and hearing those kinds of statements before you come out here and do the things that we have to do as representing, the minority party. We would simply not be able to do anything near what we've been able to do if it wasn't for Teresa. So on behalf of our entire caucus, we love you and we thank you for all that you've done for us.
Excellent, thank you, Senator. Senator from the 45th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. This was not only a treat for the honoree, but it was a treat for this body, just to say that. Mr. President, when I think of Congressman Invocation, a lot of times, being in the same situation, born and raised in the city of Baltimore, we have to read about leaders that we look at as giants. But each and every day, you see Senator from West Baltimore, this isn't something that we have to read about. We get the opportunity to be able to send that text, have that call, have that conversation, and be able to sit upon a giant, not just in the city of Baltimore, not just in the state of Maryland, but across this country. And I just say thank you for that leadership, because that's not readily accessible. That's not something that we're always used to, but I feel very lucky, very humble to be able to have that at this moment. And I also just wanted to lean in and say, Dr. Invocation, I realized with my wife, Demetria, who I've known since I was 17, that none of us get where we go without a strong partner. So I say thank you for your leadership, because it's also a sacrifice to be able to do what we do. And then Ms. Goddard. Ms. Goddard, see, I'm not fortunate enough to know you as well as my staff, but I think about the first year that a young lady that works in my office, Tamika Winkler. And she talked about this woman that she had met. And she talked about the woman that she had met with the Republican Minority Caucus. And she just couldn't stop talking about how you had opened your arms, how you had made sure that she was successful in her first year. And that still sits with me at this time, even while we're serving in now second term, how you treated, and that's what people remember. It's the small little things that we do in life, and how we treat people is how we're going to be remembered. So I may not know you personally, but I'm telling you, I've heard a lot about you, because Tamika never stops talking about how you treated her the first year she stepped in this Senate.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you. Senator from District 6.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, I had the opportunity to meet our good congressman, and when I found out that he was representing our area in Dundalk, and I see him every 4th of July in our parade, and he's always right in front of me, and I'm right behind him, he's right in front of me every time, and we always have a great conversation. And I look forward to that time when we have that talk and we just meet. And he's always been so respectful and so genuine to me and my delegates. And we've always had the opportunity to talk about our concerns about the bridge and about our other areas and about Turner Station, where you were from, and our area in Dundalk now. And you've done well for us. And I want to thank you so much for being that person and being there for us for the Key Bridge, and now the ongoing work that we are going to be doing. And I know you're a voice, and you're going to be a great voice, and I know we're going to do great things to work together. So I want to thank you, Congressman, and thank your wife for lending you to us. It's a blessing. And I can't say enough also about Teresa Goddard. Just before coming into Senate, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But I had a good friend, somebody that made me feel comfortable when I came, a good word, an encourager. Somebody said, "You're going to do great." And I know the shoes that I was putting on from Senator Stone, but she was so kind and so genuine. When you have that kind of person that you can have the opportunity to talk and meet, it puts you in a place where you can sit down and you can never say enough thank you. So Teresa, thank you so much for being a friend. And I'll never forget the time that you gave me the time of day. I'm blessed. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Well, I just want to say thank you truly from the bottom of my heart and from members of the Senate to each of our awardees and your families. This is what public service is supposed to be, and you two represent the pinnacle of it. And so I want to thank you deeply and truly for your incredible impact in this world. You have made our state a better place because of your work within it, and thank you so much for everything you do. Thank you. We are also joined, as we said, Dr. Mfume, Dr. Tiffany Mfume, but we also have Ray Conaway, who is Congressman Mfume's district director, so we want to thank him for being here with us. And then with Teresa, we have a number of folks who traveled from near and far when they found out it was happening. We have James Goddard, her husband, James Goddard, her son, Audie Goddard, her daughter-in-law, yes, Adalyn Goddard, yes, hello there, Adalyn, Elizabeth Hope, Teresa's mother. We have former Senator E.J. Pipkin, who I still have visions of sitting in that seat of all of the Pipkin way, and his wife Alyssa, of course. Great to see you as well. We have former Senator Joe Getty, Judge Getty. Former Senator Marty Madden, welcome. Erica Howard. Erica, where are you? There, oh, right, of course, Erica, yes, right in front of me. It's always hardest to see the people that are right in front of me. David Myers, Megan Miller, and Daniel Granzow from Senator Hershey's staff. And we were joined by Delegate Arendz, Delegate Christ, and Delegate Jacobs, who were here. I think they had to go back over. So we want to, again, thank our awardees. Thank you for your work. Please feel free. While I know the Senate can be very exciting and fun, but we also know that you all have wonderful things to do and want to probably spend time with family and friends. And so the lounge is open in the case that you want to have conversations with folks who will probably come out and say hello, and if you want to spend time with family members who are here. So thank you all so much, and it's truly a privilege to be able to offer this award to you today. Thank you both. Recognize the Minority Whip.
Mr. President, I did want to point out that former Chief Justice of the State Supreme Court and former Senator for District 5, Senator Getty, is here in the audience as well, and wanted to recognize him. So,
Did I? Okay, sorry.
You got him. Okay, I'm sorry.
No
I
worries.
somehow missed it. You didn't miss it.
You're especially welcome to,
That's right.
to Judge
Wonderful.
Getty.
I got to take care of my constituents, Mr. President. Yeah.
Look,
Okay.
that's right. Always be selling. It's local, right? Local. No. Excellent. Thank you all. As we don't have much work today, which is very nice, so we will move a few things along. And my favorite is the surprise. So it's the deep story to get the folks here without knowing. The joys of crossover week, that we get to have a little bit of a moment to take a breath. All right, let's move these along while we're, so we consider the reading of the journal from the prior legislative day. We just have executive nominations today, so let's go ahead and read the first message. If the clerk could read the first message.
Dear President Ferguson, I'm writing to note a minor but important technical correction for a previously submitted nomination. Thank you for your assistance and support. Please contact my appointment office if you have any questions. Wes Moore, Governor.
All right, message having been read is journalized and will be referred to the Executive Nominations Committee. We also have another message from the executive. Clerk will read the message.
Dear President Ferguson, in accordance with Article 2, Section 13 of the Constitution of Maryland, I am pleased to submit the following appointment nominations for confirmation by the Maryland State Senate. These individuals bring exceptional knowledge and ability to the office.
So we consider the reading of the message. We will order it journalized and refer the appointment to the Executive Nominations Committee. All right. That does it. The desk is clear today. Yes, recognize the senator from District 11.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I have the pleasure today of introducing the doctor of the day, who also happens to be a friend of mine, Dr. Randy Brayman. She is the Family Practice and Primary Care Clerkship Director for the GW Medical School Regional Medical Campus at Sinai Hospital. And she is a constituent, and I know you will all be in good hands should you need her service today.
Excellent. Welcome.
So welcome. Thank you. Can I also make two other announcements, if that's appropriate? One is from 11 to 1 today, there is a joint event over in the House room 218 between 11 and 1. Please come have lunch. It is a joint event between the Women's Caucus and the Maryland Legislative Jewish Caucus. It's a pop-up lunch. There will be wonderful features of Jewish women over the years who have had Jewish legislators who have had an impact here. Please come by and say hello. And I would also like to announce that the Baltimore County delegation will be meeting Monday at 3 o'clock for bill hearings, House hearings. So Monday at 3 o'clock in the Verta Welcome Room. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Senator. Recognize Senator from the 43rd.
Thank you, Mr. President. Baltimore City delegation will be meeting Monday at 4:10. Location TBD.
Excellent. All right. I don't think we did committees. Did we do committees? Finance Committee today?
Thank you, Mr. President. Finance will meet at 1:30 today. We have 6 bills and a long voting session. Thank you.
Excellent. Education, Energy, and the Environment.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are going to start hearings on House bills today, and that will start at 1 p.m. 1 p.m.
1 p.m. Excellent. Budget and Tax.
Thank you, Mr. President. We don't have any hearings today, but we have a voting session at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
9 a.m. tomorrow. Excellent. Judicial Proceedings.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Judicial Proceedings Committee will meet today at 1 p.m. for bill hearings.
All right, 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Yes, recognize the chair of the Democratic Caucus.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Colleagues, the Senate Democratic Caucus will be meeting today at 11:30 in the Majority Caucus room. 11:30 today.
11:30 for the caucus, 11:30. This is a new announcement, so please make sure to, if 11:30. Yes, Senator from Executive Nominations, Howard County.
Yes, the Executive Nominations Committee will be meeting on Monday at 5 p.m. in the Amos hearing room. Also would like to make an announcement. In the rear gallery, we have resident physicians from the Johns Hopkins Preventive Medicine Residency Program who are visiting here in Annapolis today, learning about our legislative process. If you could ask for warm Senate welcome for them.
Welcome. Thank you all for joining us today. Yes, recognizing the chair of the Montgomery County delegation.
Thank you, Mr. President. Montgomery County colleagues, we've been bumped. So stay tuned. Next week, we'll get back to work.
Apologies.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Apologies. Yes, thank you, Senator. All right. Do we have any further announcements? Oh, let's do the pages. Recognize the co-chair of the Protocol Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, it's the end of our official week. We've got pro forma tomorrow, but it's our chance to thank the pages. We've had another busy week. The first page that we're going to thank is from District...
Senator, just one moment. If we could get the Majority Leader to join us and the Minority Leader up front, we will call up everyone and we'll do a picture with all of the pages after we recognize them. Yes, please. Senator, please proceed.
Yeah, my apologies. I get the microphone and can't slow down. Are we ready?
We are ready.
Okay, colleagues, the moment you've been waiting for. Here we go. First page we're thanking is from District 15, Clarksburg High School, Layla Bidyecki. Layla, thank you. Our next page is from District 30, Broadneck High School, Julian Hallman. Our next page is from District 9, Howard High School, Jean Lee. Our next page is District 24, Bowie High School, Lydia Murray. Our next page is District 28, Maurice J. McDonough High School, Ava Rollage. Our next page is District 11, Towson High School, Serena Saki. Our next page is District 36, homeschooled, Sophie Soltenfuss. Sophie? And our last page is District 37, Colonel Richardson High School, Carly Van Skyke.
Do we have Jim? Photo. Hold on just a moment. All right. Want to make sure we get this photo for the memory books here. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you to our pages. You all were wonderful. I hope you enjoyed yourselves and learned a lot these last 2 weeks, and we wish you the absolute best as you take your next adventure. So thank you all so much for your great work. Congrats. Our best and brightest across the state. Yes, sir.
Mr. President, the Protocol Committee would like to share one other announcement with the body.
Senator may proceed.
Permission to use the Senator's name.
Senator may proceed.
So colleagues, please join the Protocol Committee in wishing, I asked to use the Senator's name, right? Okay, just one second. I get rolling. Join the Protocol Committee in wishing a happy birthday to the Senator from District 14, the Capital Budget Chairman, Senator Craig Zucker. Happy birthday. colleagues, his birthday is actually Sunday, but the celebration has begun, and we just want to keep it alive.
It's the birthday week. It's a big one. It's a big week. Excellent. Very good. Senator from the 30th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. Is this the appropriate time for guest announcements?
Senator May, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are joined in the gallery by women from the League of Women Voters of Anne Arundel County who have joined us to watch our Senate proceedings today. Please welcome them warmly. Mr. President?
Yes.
And then I have an additional guests that are joining us here on the Senate floor. We have Joshua Tucker, who is a freshman at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. He's a graduate of Annapolis High School. He is a business and finance major, and he is joining us as a shadow with his mentor from Anne Arundel County Public Schools, Andre Dillard, who is the leader of our mentorship program. Please welcome them warmly.
Welcome. Welcome. Keep up the great work. Well done. Great to see you all. Yes, Senator from District 7.
Quick introduction. I have Austin Katz with me. He's been working in my office this session. He's a student at University of Maryland College Park. Just came in today. Got to see a lot of exciting stuff, so welcome, Austin.
Very good. Welcome. Welcome. We have one final presentation, but let's see if are there any other logistics or announcements before we have our Women's History presentation? If not, recognize the Senator from Montgomery County.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today is the first day of spring, which seemed like the right day to honor Maryland's own Rachel Carson. Rachel Carson wrote the iconic book, Silent Spring, that awakened much of the world to the escalating environmental crisis. She found her path due to a dynamic female biology professor who encouraged her to use her writing skills rather than just in English, but in biology, which she did. But being in the 1920s, that was a challenge because of her gender. She earned her master's degree in zoology at Johns Hopkins and decided to stay in Maryland and make it her home. She started her career writing in the Baltimore Sun using the name, the byline, R.L. Carson, in the hopes that people would think that it was a man who was writing and take her work more seriously. She started with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in the U.S. Department of the Interior, and she began as a part-time scriptwriter and ultimately rose to the rank of editor-in-chief. Ms. Carson's influential book, Silent Spring, captured the attention of President John F. Kennedy, and the environment became part of the national conversation. Within 8 years, Congress had created the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA. She won numerous awards, both in her lifetime and afterwards, including President Jimmy Carter posthumously awarding her the prestigious Medal of Freedom. Rachel Carson did not mince words. Quote, "Humanity is a part of nature, and our war against nature is inevitably a war against ourselves." As Vice Chair of the Education, Energy, and the Environment Committee, I am particularly mindful of Ms. Carson's legacy and how it lives on in our work, safeguarding Maryland residents and preserving our environment for future generations. Ms. Carson was a realist, yet she also painted a picture of a hopeful future. She believed that it was not only the responsibility, but the obligation of government to protect all living things from environmental harm, which sadly has become especially relevant since January 20th. As we navigate the damage caused by the short-sighted decisions of this White House, starting to unravel in 60 days the environmental progress of the past 60 years, we can find comfort in Ms. Carson's words, quote, "There is something infinitely healing in the repeated refrains of nature, the assurance that dawn comes after night and spring after winter." Ms. Carson's memory endures not only through environmental policies and conservation efforts, but through numerous institutions bearing her name, including Gaithersburg's own Blue Ribbon Rachel Carson Elementary School. I should mention that her ashes are buried in Park Lawn Cemetery in Rockville. Thank you for your attention to the story of a true Maryland shero during this Women's History Month. Thank you all.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you for that reflection. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I did not know Rachel Carson. Yes, I recognize the Senator from District 11.
Thank you very much. I ask that the senator from Rockville and Gaithersburg's remarks be journalized, please.
Without objection, most certainly we will journalize the remarks. Thank you, Senator, so much. And actually, if there are no objections, if we could journalize the remarks from our state archivist, whose remarks for each of the First Citizen awardees, hopefully we can add to the record if there are no objections, so ordered. All right, I think that does it today. Are there any further announcements? If not, let's do a quorum call.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their presence? If so, the clerk will take the call. With 44 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland remains in session, recognizing the majority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Just one moment. Sorry, apologies. Recognizing the Senator from Montgomery County. What
I'm
purpose,
so
Senator
sorry,
Rice?
Mr. President. After I was done with talking about Rachel Carson, I really intended to introduce and recognize my Chief of Staff, Matthew Jeweler, who works long hours, even had a flat tire this morning and got here on time anyway. He's doing a terrific job.
Thank you. Right in the very nick of time. Recognizes the majority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate of Maryland stand adjourned until Friday, March 21st at 10 a.m. possible?
9:45?
9:45 is better.
Let's do 9:45.
9:45 a.m.
Excellent.
For a pro forma session.
Wonderful. All right, without objection, so ordered. Have a wonderful rest of the day, everyone. Stay safe.